Hi there. Today I'm going to share my knowledge about drawing hair and explain how to make it look lively, voluminous, and natural. I'm still a beginner blogger, so I'll do my best to impress you. So grab your Coke, tablet, and stylus. By the way, I'll show the brushes and useful stuff at the end of the video. A little intrigue, as they say. Now let's get started, guys. In women, the hairline is located at the border between the skin of the forehead and the hair-covered part of the head. This is the natural boundary where hair begins to grow. First, let's take a look at what a hairline looks like. I'll show it on a mannequin head with 4 different variations. There are different types, but the most common are middle hairline, a straight, classic line. The hair starts at the middle point. Low hairline. The line is positioned lower, making the forehead appear smaller. High hairline, positioned higher, making the forehead look bigger. Widow's peak. A V-shaped point in the middle of the forehead. So it's important to define the parting. I draw this little thing to show where the hair will split into 2 sections. When drawing hair, it's important to understand where it grows from. This will help you convey the volume and direction correctly. If the character has bangs, you should know where they start. Usually, it's a small triangle at the hairline, the tip is in the center of the forehead, and the 2 points are on the sides. This is exactly where the strands of the bangs come out from. Now let's outline the shape of the hair. Nothing too fancy here, just showing roughly where the hair will be. I'll do it quickly so it doesn't get boring. Place a point at the crown. This is the center of hair growth. This way, you can immediately see the logic of the movement, rather than just the hairstyle's shape. Here are a couple more examples to help you see the whole picture. But if you try to draw every single strand in its exact position, it will end up looking like a mop, messy and random. Stylized hair is not all the hair, but generalized expressive shapes. It's better to draw 1 expressive strand than 20 boring lines. Group the hair and make it more clustered. You need to structure the shape before developing it further. By the way, we've already built an independent shape, so now we can safely start adding details. Try not to overdo it so your character doesn't end up looking overly messy. I recommend drawing very thin, individual strands only occasionally, mainly in full artworks, since in a simple piece this detail isn't always necessary. Alright, we've lined the hair. Now let's clarify a bit about the shape. To understand the structure of the main shape, you can break it down into bananas. Yes, bananas. Visualize whatever works for you, leaves, petals, or bananas. But remember, our goal is still to show the main masses without going too deep into the details. Here are examples of real characters where the strands resemble these shapes. A little tip for drawing such shapes. Use rhythm and repetition. Repeating shapes and strands make them look like they're dancing. Alternate big and small curves to add dynamics and style. Doesn't look great yet, right? Let's add some varied strands. Better, isn't it? Let's quickly go over tied up hair. Today we'll focus on a ponytail. We have the hairline and a hair tie, the point where the hair is gathered. The strands are pulled toward this point as if being drawn in. They start from the hairline on the forehead, temples, and nape, and move toward the tie, following the shape of the head. In the front, I recommend leaving some strands that don't quite reach the bun or ponytail. Hair around the face is often shorter than the main mass. These details make the hairstyle look lively and natural, adding softness, volume, and realism. Curly hair is a whole separate topic. Honestly, I'm not too experienced with it yet. I usually draw wavy or straight hair, but I suggest studying it. We're all learning, and not knowing something is completely fine. Alright, let's move on to coloring. For a more lively look, you can add a bit of semi-transparent color to the strands around the face, or to the bangs if your character has them. You can also make the tips slightly darker and more saturated than the base color. If you want, you can even shift them toward a cooler tone if you feel it works. Now for the shadows. Set the layer mode to multiply. First, determine the light source and apply shadows according to it. This creates depth and shows how the light interacts with the hair. Even at this stage, the hairstyle already looks more voluminous. Add deeper shadows using a soft fan brush with broad strokes in areas where the hair gathers into masses or twists. To prevent the shadows from looking dull and lifeless, we'll add a reflective light. A reflective light is a lighter highlight on the shadow side of an object. If the hair is warm-toned, add a cool reflective light, light blue, lavender. If the hair is cool-toned, do the opposite and add a touch of warmth, pink peach. With a large, soft brush, lightly touch the shadows at the bottom of the strands, on the tips, and in curved areas. A touch of glow to make it look more lively. Final highlights. At the last stage, add small pinpoint highlights to the brightest areas, the tops of strands, the curves, and the spots with direct light. The main thing is not to overdo it. Just a couple of light strokes and you're done. That's all for today, bestie. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.